Over the last 4 years, I've lost count of how many people I've been able to help move to Australia. Because living in Australia comes with its own set of unique challenges. My wife Sam and I moved with our young daughter Aurora during the global pandemic of 2020. And whilst living in Australia hasn't all been plain sailing, we've tried to share an honest review of what living in Australia really is like. If in 2025 you're looking at moving to Australia yourself, then here are all of our tips over the last 4 years that are going to make your move to Australia a success. 4 years here, we can now apply for citizenship, which is not as easy as you think. If you want to know how Sam did on the test, I'll put a link to that on the end of this video. I guess the first piece of advice, what would your best piece of advice be for someone when they arrive here trying to get a job or about jobs?
Just go for it. Apply for as many as you can. I don't really know.
I think I would kind of echo that, but I would also say apply for types of jobs that obviously you think you can do, but are slightly out of what you would normally do or outside of your comfort zone, because you never really know what types of things you're going to ever be good at. And if you're fixated on the same specific type of role, then you're going to narrow your options of being able to actually get it. And you never know. Treat Australia moving here as like a new, fresh start and trying something different. You never know, you might really like it. I've actually liked the style and type of teaching that I do. It's pretty different to the more academic types of teaching that I'm used to. I teach at a more vocational place and I've really enjoyed it. So if I was going to pick up a new role, that's probably the types of things that I would also consider, as well as maybe even going back to something academic. But you'd never really know if you don't try.
No.
You do something completely different to what you mainly did in the UK. You've gone from beauty therapist.
Not completely different. I'm still within disability.
Yeah.
I'm not in a school now. I'm community access,
Yeah.
which is a pretty easy job over here. I'm quite lucky with
Yeah.
the company I work with. The clients I have are really easy. If anything, sometimes it's actually a bit boring because I don't really get pushed. Do you know what I mean? Like I just plod along. But right now it just works really with the casual work that I have, and with daycare and Sierra being sick all the time or Aurora being sick, it's never a problem because I can just say I'm sorry, but I can't work today.
And I guess my other piece of advice for jobs is I'd question your motives for wanting to move here. If you specifically want to move here to further your job, career kind of stuff, there's so many other things that are available to you in Australia that I don't think you should be moving here specifically just for a job. I mean, it depends on what you do, but if that's what you're basing your satisfaction and your focus is on, there are probably better places to get more career progress that don't really, and less risk as well. That's my point. You're moving over here to try and get a better job. There's a lot of other things that you need to get right. Probably not worth the effort, in my opinion. What would be your best piece of advice to do with people either getting a home, living in a home, making their home feel more homely? What advice do you have for people about homes?
You're asking me about homes.
Yeah. Why is that funny?
Don't get a 2-story house. It's too bloody hot. See?
I think that's probably the only thing on your tick list that I didn't get right, in the sense that this house has everything else, perhaps a little bit too big for your liking. But if you have a 2-story, heat
rises,
makes things hot, and it just gets warm up here. And unless you've got good aircon, particularly in the summer, I would caveat that with, I think anywhere in Australia during the summer is going to melt, apart from perhaps Tasmania. Never been, so I can't really comment. But I actually quite like a 2-story home. They're quite rare in Australia. Most of them they call them low set. It means that your house, you have more of a garden because it takes up less space. So yeah, we kind of differ there, but this is a major upgrade than what we had in the UK anyway, so we can't really complain. My tip, I think, for people trying to get a house is write down everything that you want from a home. That's what we did. I mean, I say we, you wrote down everything you wanted and I tried to find it. But write down everything that you want from a new home, and then kind of categorize it between what are your negotiables, non-negotiables, things you have to have, things that you'd like. And then when you're basing your search, you're never going to find
the perfect house,
the absolute perfect house. If you can, it probably won't be within your budget, so that's kind of screwed it up. So as long as you've got what you want, what you think is important, you can then make the best choice for you at that specific time, and then at least you'll find something that you're reasonably happy with. And also, if you can't find it at the perfect time, don't worry about it. And if it's rentals, I'd go as far as to say chuck the list away and just get whatever whatever is within your budget, because it's not going to be your forever home. You're not going to live there forever. As long as it will do and it's a roof over your head.
Yeah.
And it's kind of within the location that you want. That's probably the main bit.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to have to travel unnecessarily if they don't need to. But you could probably do with a less of a bedroom.
That's why you looked for a job first.
Yeah.
To find the location, and then we worked around that, didn't we?
Yeah.
When we looked for a rental.
And it still worked out. What tips do you have? Now, you'll probably be better at this one because you do most of the shopping. What tips do you have for people trying to save money and to help with the cost of living? Because that's something that we've noticed has really increased in the last 4 years.
The grocery shops are just, you just pop in for your basic bread, milk, eggs, bit of fruit, and it's like $50.
Yeah.
Like it's not a little quick pop to the shop and it's 10 bucks anymore, like it is climbing. A lot of people say to shop online, which I've never done. And
never done that,
I think
even in
one
England.
day I might try it. But I quite like going into the shops.
Yeah.
I like grocery shopping, which is weird because most people don't. But I think it's just because I can potter. And I like pottering.
I think it's because we buy a lot of stuff based upon what deals are there. Like, for example, if we go in and we want, chips, we're not really specifically fussed about what type of chips that we want to buy.
Yep.
So we'll just look at which one is on the deal. And that for us gives us the variety that I guess...
Yeah.
I think that's why we don't shop online, because it kind of remembers what you've got and it always assumes you want the same thing. It's like, well, no, I'll just have the cheapest thing of that. Apart from, bread, we get the own brand bread. Milk, we get the own brand stuff. But other things, we just get whatever's on offer.
Yeah, we do. And we try and keep, like if some custard's like $5 or it's $2.50, we will try the $2.50 one. We will try the lower ones, won't we, first? And then we'll decide, well, actually, maybe no, next time we will go back to the $5 one that we used to have or whatever. But yeah, you get to see the different deals. You get a different variety, I think, when you go in.
Yeah.
Like I just said to you this morning, I literally popped down for the basics and then a couple of baking bits, and it was like $90. And I'm like, whoa.
Baking? What were you baking?
Gold. No, I did get a few bits. Like I got bananas, I got milk, I got potato gems, I got some fish cakes for the girls, I got a bit of washing stuff.
That's always expensive, though.
What else did I get?
I might have to go to Costco soon.
Some like food colouring and stuff, and some decorating things, because Aurora's got to take in some Christmas festive
things for lunch?
Tomorrow.
Nice.
Like biscuits and gingerbread men and all that stuff. So
And you're making
So I
these?
thought I'd try and make it.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
But you probably should have just bought them. It would have been cheaper and easier.
No, because I've never made gingerbread before, so I'm going to give it a bash.
I don't think I ever have. Have you ever made gingerbread?
No, I don't want to be that parent that sends in everything that's just bought from the shop. Like I've got the time today to do it, so that's why I did it. But anyway.
My tip for saving money, I think, is despite what they say in Australia about like people having too much monopolies, like there's not enough choice. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't. Definitely with Coles and Woolies, there's a duopoly. But I'm talking about everything. Shop around, because particularly with utilities and things like that, I didn't shop around as much in the UK with utilities, but here, from what I gather, you can't really be held into a long-term contract. So for example, if you've got your electricity rates and they periodically will put them up, if you're not happy with the prices that you're then going to be charged, even if you've only been with the company for a few months, you can switch. So I would definitely say in lots of different things that you have to buy, just shop around, and also shop around in places that you wouldn't have necessarily shopped. We never used to go to greengrocers, butchers and things like that, because in England they were always so much more expensive and supermarkets were just always cheaper. Whereas here, supermarkets aren't always cheaper. They're definitely more convenient, but you can go to other places that sell meat, not necessarily even just like your local butchers, but other larger butchers where there's lots of meat available and you can buy things in bulk and it's a lot cheaper. So shop around, look for things in bulk. Costco is a genuine shopping option here. We didn't really use that much in the UK.
No.
So if you want to save money, don't just kind of assume and take the first one as always going to be the cheapest. And even with that as well, when you go to places, if you know of a better deal somewhere else, quite often they'll price match.
Yeah, they're quite good at that here.
So when you're first setting up everything and you're like, oh, I need a new fridge, I need a new that, have a quick look even online. And if you can just show them, hey, it's cheaper here, 9 times out of 10, they'll actually price match it.
Yeah. I do that a lot with medication.
Yep.
Like because we've got a, what's it called? Terry White?
Terry White, I think is our local.
Yeah. You know, most of the time it's cheaper in the Chemist Warehouse,
Yep.
you know.
Which isn't close.
No, so I'll always say to them, can you price match at me with Chemist Warehouse? I don't normally have to look it up. They normally just do it on the computer.
Yeah.
And they just ask you where you want to price match it from. They
Yep.
won't just automatically do it.
They're not that good.
No. So, and then, they'll give it to you. I think, you know, I saved like $6, $7, $8 like on stuff before because it's been cheaper elsewhere, but obviously they want the money. So,
I did it with my golf clubs.
oh, did you?
Yeah. Tips to do with making new friends. Because I would say that that's something that when we were in England, we struggled with. Like we didn't, it's not that we didn't have friends. We had friends, but they were all friends from like school or people that we kind of worked with. But when you move here and there is no one and you've moved over with no one, what's your best tips?
Having kids.
Don't just have a kid so that you can make
Well, that's
some
my
mates.
tip. I think
Yeah.
if I didn't have the girls, in my head, when I think of a lot of people, I think, well, I wouldn't have been friends with you had it not been for the
Yeah.
kids. Do you know what I mean? The majority of our friends,
Yep.
we know through the girls. So, definitely having the kids has definitely helped us. I don't know how I would make friends. I guess I'd have to go out and join a few clubs and gyms and, you know, all that kind of stuff and go from there. I don't really have any work friends because I have one that I speak to quite regularly, but because
Your type of work doesn't really help.
No, my type of work is quite solo. Like I'm just on my own all the time with a client. I don't really do much in groups or anything, so I don't have any work friends.
I'd say my tip would be you need to treat trying to make new friends like a numbers game. Moving to Australia itself is so difficult. You know, it's not an easy process unless, you know, you're coming on perhaps a working holiday visa. But even just getting all of your stuff over here, having to go through that, and then to think, I don't think of it like, so what, you'd want to leave because you haven't got friends? Like, mate, treat it like a numbers game. It's not going to be easy. It's like you're swiping on freaking Tinder. Just have this mentality that you're open to making lots of new friends and be that person that wants to speak to people, be that person that wants to say hello. Because Australians will generally speaking reciprocate. Even people who, you know, we'll find people that are also in the same boat as you with regards to moving. You know, they might not have moved from exactly the same space, but then you have something in common. And it's a numbers game to try and find and meet these people. But if you're closed off of, it's too difficult, you know, everything's against me, I'm not going to be able to find new friends, or you're sitting there thinking, I've got no new friends, and why is the reason? Because I haven't been trying, then you're just setting yourself up. It's going to be a whole lot more difficult. The minute you start trying more and the minute you start opening yourself up to new possibilities with meeting people, weirdly enough, you will meet new friends. I've never met someone that's struggled to meet people and they're not actively, realistically trying.
Yeah. They're very friendly over here. They're a lot more friendly than England, I think, here. You know, everyone's
easier here.
invited to everything and no one judges anybody and it's all, like you just go to the shop and you'll meet someone and then you become friends and, you know, like it's really very easy, isn't it? And maybe like you don't maybe do it so much now, but like when you go walk the dog and stuff and you go to the dog park, you know, you probably meet people there, have a few things in common. If they find out you're English and they're English, you're best friends just then because they all like to stick together. And, But
You never know where you'll meet people.
No, you don't.
What advice do you have for people concerned about their own kids and helping kids settle into living here?
I do think that's a hard one because our first Aurora was so young when we moved, and it was a good time to do it because she doesn't remember England.
She doesn't know any different.
She doesn't know any different, no. So, you know, it was horrible to take her away from everybody, but in regards to her having friends, her remembering family and stuff, she doesn't have that memory.
Nope.
So for her it's been fine, and Sierra was born here, so she doesn't know anything different. So we've been quite lucky that we haven't had to deal with, oh, that's my best friend. Oh,
Yeah, I guess in that case, the longer you leave it, it doesn't make it any easier.
No.
My advice from this is probably from speaking to people who do have older kids. It would be allow them to immerse themselves in as much of Australian things as possible. And I look at that from the opposite perspective. If your kid is the type of kid who, you know, they want to sit in their room all the time and do things online, and, you know, they're trying to speak to their mates still back on social media, which apparently should be banned anyway if they're under 16. But if they're that type of kid, it's going to be very difficult to make them settle, because let's face it,
But you need to let them do that as well.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Don't
You
take
ban
that
them.
away from them.
Yeah.
But, you know, out here it's very outdoorsy. There's not, I don't know that many kids that sit inside playing video games all day and all night. Like
They do it, but not at the expense of, you know,
No.
they've got sports that they want to do, or they're going to go to the skate park, or, you know, I love it when kids are just talking about, I'm going to go fishing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really nice to hear, isn't it?
Aurora's got mates in her class. They're like 6 years old, and you ask them, "Oh, what are you doing this weekend?" They're like, "I'm going fishing."
Or to the beach.
What? You're 6 years old, mate.
Yeah,
How's that your life? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
So you need to immerse your kids into all of the other opportunities that they're going to get from living here. They're probably not going to like all of them. I don't know why Aurora liked fishing when I took her, but she does. You never know what they're going to like. You never know really what they're not going to like. So try out loads of new things, and just, again, I guess a bit like friends, hope that they latch onto one of them, and that gives them a reason to enjoy it here. My next tip is to do with visas. And although we used an agent to get our visa, and that kind of feels like a long time ago now, I'm now having to go through the whole process of trying to get us our citizenship. And I am actually in the process of doing that myself, but it's not easy. And the number one reason why I think it's not easy is because although there's a ticking clock in my head, and I know that we can't leave Australia coming in a few weeks' time, because our visa will have been for 5 years, and then technically if we leave the country we need to get a resident return visa.
Yeah, we can leave.
We can leave, yeah, no, we can leave, but it costs $500 a person if we want to leave. So we're basically not doing that until we have our citizenship and our Australian passports. But the number one tip that I have, if you're looking to get a visa and you're anything like me in the sense that you are lazy and you will procrastinate at the earliest opportunity.
What does that mean?
That means like you would find something else to do.
Oh, gosh.
Use a visa agent. It costs you money, but they hold you accountable to stuff. They're the kinds of people that will say, I need this from you. Can you fill in this? Can you do that? They even can kind of hold your hand through all of the stages, and then they'll check that you've done it right. I'm the type of person that I'll put it off for ages, forget that I need to do it. Then when I do it, I'll probably rush it, possibly make a mistake, and then have it go wrong. Granted, if with regards to citizenship, it is a bit of a simpler process. But if you're watching this and you're thinking about moving to Australia and you're not quite sure what it is that you should do next, or whether you even will be able to follow the whole process through, speak to our friends True Blue Migration Services. When you mention us, you will get a free visa assessment. They'll tell you exactly what visa it is that you need to get in order to move here for your situation. And even when you mention us as well, they'll even save you $200 off the cost of your visa. So you can save money in that process as well. But I used a visa agent to move over here. I'm now in the process of trying to do it myself, not because I want to save money. I'm actually even thinking to myself, do you know what? I'd rather pay the money just to get it done, because it's not easy giving yourself the motivation to trying to do it sometimes when your life is so busy. Because challenge creates character, and I want to see if I can do it. And if I can't, then I'll just pay for it anyway.
But you're making it like extend longer then, aren't you?
I guess I am.
Like time's ticking. Like fingers
Where do you want to
crossed.
go?
Well, nothing. But I worry about stuff. What if something happens back home to anybody, and we need to get back home?
Well, then I'll pay
What
$500.
if? Yeah,
for
like
you.
I just worry about. Like I hate the fact that I can't leave this country because I've got to pay $500 to get back in. Like it's just mental. So just hurry up and do it. You finish work now.
And I guess if
Get on with it.
if you're the other way around and you want to move here, then pay for a visa agent, mate. What tips do you have? Speaking about friends and family, apparently, please don't any of them do anything bad in the next few months. I'm trying to get a passport. What tips do you have with regards to leaving friends and family or missing family? What's your number one piece of advice?
Just, I think FaceTime is a really good.
Yeah.
You know, many years ago they didn't have anything like that, and that does really help, having FaceTime. I think speaking, you know, I speak to my parents every weekend most of the time. You speak to your parents every week.
Every week, every other week. Depends on the schedules, really.
Yeah, just, you know, we message every few days and stuff. Just I don't know. I guess I've just learnt that life, we're here now, and I'm kind of that's kind of sinking in a bit more now, and I don't really I don't speak to siblings as much anymore, not because I don't know, just life's just busy, isn't it? Like, I don't have time to sit there and be like, oh, I haven't spoken to this person, but it's bad. I should, but I don't have the time.
And they sitting on the other side, like their lives
You
are
got the
busy too.
time difference, you know. We either got to be up stupidly early, you know, and they're still up stupidly late, or the opposite way.
We're late,
yeah.
and by then the girls are probably asleep
The
if they want to
girls
speak
are
to the
tired.
girls.
Yeah, it's quite hard with the time difference. It is quite tricky, but we do what we do, and we do all right, don't we?
I think my piece of advice for this is there is no ifs or buts about it. Moving to the other side of the world is a very selfish thing to do. And you are doing it for you and your immediate family. You are doing it for no one else. And you have to accept all of the negative parts that come with it. FaceTime is great, but it's kind of like, you know, bandaging a wound that is never really gonna fully recover. Like, it's always going to be there. You're going to sever relationships with people who are important to you, and you won't be able to really repair them ever. And I guess for people that can't get over that, this transition isn't going to be an easy thing.
No.
You have to
let go.
Yeah, you have either let go or put all of those kind of feelings and emotions into a little box and bury it at the back of your mind somewhere and save it for when you do go over and visit, and then you can open the box again and then you can relive everything as the way it was. If you don't bury it or accept it or just kind of get over those feelings, it's always going to live and eat and dig away at you at the back of your mind, because this move isn't for everyone. Some people aren't as ruthless as we are, probably me more so than you, in the sense of, no, this is selfish. I didn't do it for anyone else. I did it for me and us. Unless you don't believe that, you'll find it difficult.
I remember when you first said about it, and when we first met, and you were like, oh yeah, I want to go live in Australia. And I was like, okay, see you later, because I won't be with you, because I'm not moving to the other side of the world. And then as things went on, and you kept saying about asking for the visa, and then my dad was like, he's only mucking about. You're not going to be going, you know. And I'm like, this is Ross, Dad. I know him pretty well now. Like, this is what he wants to do. And I just remember the whole thing. And then, yeah, when it actually came to it, like, they couldn't believe it, what we were doing. And my family were just like, wow, they take our hat off to us because they couldn't do it. And so many people have said how well we've done, because no one believed that I would ever go.
Yeah, the little Reading girl.
And I'm like, well, I just tagged along, really. I've got no idea of the whole thing. I just trusted Ross, and
you'll have to pass your citizenship test all on your own.
oh,
We're going to have to do you some learning.
Well, Rora's reading pretty well. She corrected me the other day.
On what?
Oh, Peppa Pig.
How'd you get Peppa Pig
We were
wrong?
reading Peppa Pig, and I called her Pippa Pig. And even Aurora corrected me. Pippa, she says.
Well, maybe she can read
God,
your test
yeah.
too. Take her in with you. She doesn't have to do the test. What advice do you have for any feelings about homesickness that you get? What do you do if you feel homesick?
Eat chocolate.
Eat crappy Australian chocolate.
But I eat that every day anyway.
Yeah, well,
So that doesn't really make much difference. I don't know. I just try and think. I try and not think about me, and I try and think about the girls.
Yeah.
And what they have here, and how lucky they are to have what they have. I don't know. I just kind of. I think I don't really get homesick. I don't think.
Okay.
I mean, I do get down.
Yeah.
I do, and you know that, and I do tell you when I'm feeling down and low, and maybe it's to do with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just kind of carry on, really. I do, because you have to for the girls. Like, I can't sit there feeling sorry for myself, because they cotton on to your emotions and how you're feeling and stuff. And it's just when things happen, I guess, back home that you can't be there to help or deal with, or you know, for instance, Dad wasn't great this year, was he? He had a bit of a turn. He actually had a stroke. He's fine, thank God. Everything is good. He's come out really well. But as soon as I was told that, I choked. Like my heart just went because what can I do? I can't do anything. I'm stuck here. I'm not stuck here, but I am the other side of the world. But in my head, I kept saying to myself, Sam, you can be home in 1 day's time. If you really needed to get home, I could be there tomorrow. And that's kind of how I think of it in my head.
Yeah.
That I can just go home. Obviously, it costs a lot of money and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Maybe because I'm a bit older now. I'm not really sure.
I get homesick for weird stuff, but it's all things that when I think about it, it's like a comparison. The only one obviously is family. You know, I can't compare it, missing family, to, well, what have I got here? Because I don't have the family here apart from you guys. But, you know, when people say, oh, I miss different bits of food, or I miss the way things are done, or I miss a particular like shop or something like that, there's always an alternative here that you can just like. It doesn't take away from the fact that you're going to like those types of things, but you will find an alternative one that kind of gets you through. I guess it's a bit similar to, well, even if you lived in England, what happens if that thing, like, it just stopped being there anyway?
Yeah,
like
what
would you do? Yeah, like what would you do?
Yeah.
You'd have to get on with your life, wouldn't you, mate? Yeah. So just because you've moved yourself completely to the other side of the world, oh, I can't access it now. Well, find an alternative that you can do. Or just kind of, again, like I said, put it in that little box that you're saving for when you do go back, because it's very rare that you're going to move to the other side of the world and never go there. I mean, I've been here for 5 years and I haven't been back yet. But when I do, perhaps then I'm going to overindulge. I'm going to be a glutton when I go over there and get those types of things, fill my cup up for that stuff, and then I'll be able to do it for another few years.
In all honesty, though, like, you just adapt, like you said. Like, you know, there's certain sweets or chocolates or stuff that we really like there. And it is different here. It is not the same. But you just accept that that's what you've got here, and you just get on with it.
Because there's so many things here that you haven't got in England.
Yeah, like, you know, I whinge about the chocolate. I miss the chocolate, but I guess I'm just getting used to the chocolate. You just get used to it. Yeah. Like, and then you don't really miss it.
There was even one yesterday. Was it that milky top one?
Oh, yeah.
You even turned around and went, oh, this is quite nice. Yeah. And this is the same woman that 4 years ago when she came here and ate a bit of chocolate, she's like, oh my God, it's like that.
It's not Cadbury's.
You acted like you'd eaten American chocolate.
Yeah. It was really nice. What was it called? Top load milk?
It was like milky top or something.
No, top deck.
Something like that. It was basically milk chocolate on top of
normal chocolate.
No, white chocolate on top of milk chocolate.
Yeah,
it's good.
It was nice. It was really nice. But you can get some stuff here. Like, I really like Aero, peppermint Aero, don't I? I have that here. It tastes the same. Pretty good. Yeah, you just forget. The only thing I do still struggle with is clothing here. I haven't found that shop where
fits.
I am that size in the whole of that shop. They say, oh, just go to Kmart.
What was your shop in England?
I liked New Look.
Okay.
New Look was my shop. I loved New Look. I used to work for New Look. So
you loved it that much, you worked there?
I did.
Of course you did.
I did love it. I did like H&M. They do have H&M here, but you have to go into the city.
Yeah.
But I find the sizing over here weird, the clothing very strange. Yeah, I do struggle with. I haven't found that shop. And then the price. You know, like, the price really fluctuates. Yeah. So I do struggle. But then when I went home last year, I went to Primark, I went to New Look, and I was disappointed. I barely came back with anything. I think I came back with a few pairs of jeans and a jacket, and that was it. Yeah, I guess my body's just not the same anymore after having 2 kids. Yeah.
Blame the girls.
That's probably it, yeah.
This is one, as we're coming into summer now, that I hear from you a bit. What's your number one tip about adapting to the climatic changes? Because the climate in Australia is very different from depending on where you are.
Yep.
We're in Brisbane, southeast Queensland, and as it's coming into summer, it gets hot and humid. What's your tip for anyone wanting to cope with that?
It is the humidity. Like I whinge all the time. I go pick Aurora up from school, I'm sweating. My forehead is like dripping, it feels gross. And they're like, Sam, why did you move here then? And I'm like, I don't know, I just tagged along with Ross, you know. But why did you pick Queensland? Like, the humidity is mental here.
Yeah.
It is really, really hot. It doesn't have to be sunny. It doesn't have to be
Still
no
be in the
clouds in the
shade.
sky. The humidity is horrible. I do not like summer here. I have said that many, many times. I'd happily go away
For the
for
3
summer,
months.
just
Yeah.
somewhere a bit cooler.
Because it is just those 3 months. Spring's nice. Winter's, like, if that's the winter, like, I'll definitely take that because it's very pleasant. Autumn's good as it starts to cool off. It's just the summer. Stay near water is my one. Stay near water or stay near aircon.
Everyone just says stay in aircon. Just stay in the shops.
I guess when you think about it, though,
know.
it's like the literal opposite of when we lived in England, in the sense of I hated winter. And what would you do then? You'd stay indoors. You'd stay in the warm. You wouldn't go out because it was pissing down a rain. But the switch here is that, all right, in Brisbane, it's only for 3 months of the year, and you can still do things. You actually kind of change your lifestyle a bit more. We'll go to the beach more. We'll go in the pool more. We'll do more things where we can help ourselves to cool down. And if I think about it in the UK, it started getting dark in October, then I didn't like it. And it wasn't until about March, April, like it was nearly 6 months of the year instead of 3, when actually, you know, you turn around, it would be in the epitome of whinging poms. You turn around and you go, oh, what? So for 3 of the months, you can sunbathe by your pool and go to the beach to cool down. What are you whinging about? And that's literally what it is. I don't understand sometimes when people completely ditch Australia because of that heat. Like, it's part of it. You just have to deal with it. And there's plenty of parts of Australia that you could probably find are much more amicable to your climate preferences. Move a bit further south. Move to Perth, God forbid, if you wanted to. If you didn't like the rain, like it rains a bit more here in the summer. But you just got to find the one that's right for you. If you're not used to it, research it or go and experience them for yourself.
I think you just have to just accept that it gets bloody hot. You are sweating all the time, and I find that hard. I hate that damp, wet, sweaty feeling. I don't like it.
You're more of a prefer to be colder than warmer person.
Yeah,
I prefer to be warmer than
because
colder.
I can wrap up then, you know. But if it's cold, then I feel the cold. You know, here comes Goldilocks again. I'm right in the middle. You know, I don't like it too hot. I like to be comfortable. Like I can't even lay out by the pool because it's too hot. It's too hot for me.
Yeah.
We don't
Even
really
with
have
factor
any
50 on, you get burned quick.
You burn, yeah. No one goes out in the heat, in this type of heat, do they?
No.
Like, I stupidly mowed the lawn this morning and, oh my God, I drank a pint of water so quick, didn't I?
I've never seen you drink a pint that quick.
I was actually shaking because I was just so hot. I was sweat. You could see it all on my top. It was gross. I don't like summer. I really do struggle. I do struggle, and I'm sorry that I keep whinging. But when you don't let me have the aircon on at night, I think I've got every right to whinge.
We had it on last night, and then you said it was too cold.
I was cold.
Can't win. You can't win. What advice do you have for people that are concerned about wildlife in Australia?
Oh, don't worry about it. I didn't really worry.
We're more annoyed by flies and cockroaches now.
Yeah,
That's it.
Bloody flies, bloody cockroaches.
Even when we found a 2 metre long freaking python underneath our hot tub. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't going in there to dig it out.
Yeah, we weren't going to.
But I wasn't like,
stroke
oh
it.
my God. We haven't seen an eastern brown or anything really venomous yet.
No.
But yeah, don't worry about it, mate. Spiders, don't go in any bushes. Like, just have some common sense. Keep your shoes indoors. The only things we leave outside are thongs or Crocs, which are easy to check. Anyone that sits there, do you know what? Those people that sit there and go, I'm worried about... Why would you want to live in a country like that? Like,
because of...
Don't come here, mate. See you later. Go and live wherever you want to live. Yeah. Normally Americans, where there's got...
You do see a lot of spiders. You
Yeah.
do. You do. I've never really been scared of spiders. It's not
No.
really a problem for me. Like, I know a lot of women, girls hate them. I'm all right. But I get really irritated by the flies here.
Yeah.
I hate things buzzing around me. I don't like it. It's like birds. I don't
Or
like
getting
birds
nibbled
that flap.
when we go, like mozzies
Yeah,
getting
the
nibbled when we go
mozzies.
camping. But
Yeah, they're quite bad because I react to
good
them.
spray
But
will sort them out.
and then I'm noticing a few cockroaches and stuff recently. I don't really.
Our spray's due
I
up.
won't scream if I see it, but I because
Get
they
the
move
thongs out.
fast. I just spray them and and snakes. I mean, not many people like snakes.
I don't like them. I'm not going to go and
I
give
don't
it a
like
kiss.
no exactly. And if I did see one, I probably would take a bit of a deep breath and panic or whatever. But it wouldn't stop me moving here. And I've learned with the whole crocodile thing, like when I first came over here, I thought, and kangaroos, and I thought I'd be seeing them every 24/7, and I never see kangaroos really.
I saw some yesterday.
If I do, I'm like, wow, there's a kangaroo in the wild, like because you don't really see them, do you?
No.
I was petrified of crocodiles. I'm still petrified of crocodiles.
Yeah, I
I'm
am
scared.
too. But they're not down here.
But they're not really around here. But you never know.
Not really. They're definitely not around here.
Well, yeah, but you just don't know.
I do, because maybe this time of year they could cope, but it's too cold.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, I don't know.
It's a long swim.
Yeah, and sharks. I still
there's
get
sharks.
scared of sharks. I don't like sharks.
There's definitely sharks.
I am scared of the sea. I don't like the sea. And obviously got the jellyfish here, the dangerous ones. They're a bit scary.
Again, a bit further north. But
Yeah, but it's all a bit more north where it's hotter. But the main ones people panic about are spiders and snakes, aren't they? Yeah. So,
unless you're coming to live here and you're really rural, like out on a acreage, don't worry, mate. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
What advice do you have to do with your relationship with your significant other when you move here to help it to be good, I guess? What relationship advice do you have?
What, with you?
Yeah. Have a sense of humour.
Yeah.
Probably, the first one. Bad things are going to happen, and if you aren't going to laugh about it, you'll end up crying. So
I don't know.
Yeah, have a sense of humour.
Yeah, you do have to have a sense. I mean, I think Ross and I, we do need to have more time by ourselves.
Yeah,
we do.
It's tricky when you've got no family support that you'd usually use. Like, can you babysit them for a bit? And you feel bad. You feel bad, especially having to ask people to do it.
But people are happily, they're okay to do it. They don't mind, they want to, but I don't really ask unless it's like a real...
Yeah, and particularly if your kids are older, like, potty trained and stuff like that, everyone's more than willing to take them. We feel reluctant because Sierra's obviously still in nappies and things like that. She's still in a crib because I like the bars.
Quite happy in there. I feel we need to do more. I feel we need to talk a bit more. Like, we never really sit and, I don't know, we never really sit and talk really anymore. A lot of everyone's on phones and stuff these days, and we'll both be sitting there watching a film, yet we're both on our phone.
I agree with that, and I think the tip is that you need to, as much as possible, organise time to spend with each other. Yeah. And I know it feels kind of forced and pushed, but when you've got so much going on in your life, if you don't physically say, this time we're going to do this, and have that for yourself for the relationship, then it isn't going to happen. Like, if you don't force yourselves to make those times, and then that's when it kind of, everyone gets a bit reluctant with each other and judging of each other. Oh, we never do this, but well, let's do it then. When do you want to do it? You rely a lot, don't you, on what your life used to be like in England, and it kind of expect it to be exactly the same. Yeah. And it's not,
then before kids, like if you have kids,
it's not going to be the same.
Into it.
But it doesn't mean it's bad.
No.
But you've got to force yourself to do the things that you know are good, because otherwise you'll just go and do the thing that seems easier, really, and it's not necessarily the better thing.
No. But we are getting a bit better at, like, if we snap at each other, I've got to learn to say no.
Because it will happen.
And it does happen. It does happen between us. Because, we're both at work, and then we've got the girls and they're whinging and they're crying, and Ross is trying to do this and Sierra's pulling at his leg and then she's shouting for mum and it's all, you're all like having a go at each other and shouting.
And you can't go,
and
here, take my kids.
yeah. Like
designated family member, please.
It is very, very hard.
You just got to deal with it all yourself.
Yeah, you've just got to. And you also need to try and recognise when that person, you need to learn this a little bit more. I'm good with you, but when that person is stressed or you can tell it's all a bit much right now.
Yeah.
So what could the other person do to help, take that child or say, look, ma'am, just go and have 5 minutes. I can see you're a bit stressed or,
I need to be more like Bandit off of Bluey.
Yeah. Ross isn't always the best at that, and then he'll be like, "Are you all right?" Like 5 hours later, or like the other day, I banged my bloody head on your thing in the garage, and you shouted at me and had a go at me because I put the pram in a stupid place, and I was just moving it from my boot to just put it, on the start in the garage, and I stood up and I smacked my head on your what's it called your weights, and I really hurt my head, and you even heard the bang.
It was a donk, yeah.
And you said nothing. You said absolutely nothing, but
because
had a go at me
like
because of the pram.
No, I react like the kids if you sit there and a kid hurts himself and you go, oh, and then they start crying. I thought if I do nothing, like Sierra just gets up.
And then I drive the car and I thought you might have been like, oh, do you want me to drive? Like, is your head okay? Can you see okay? But why?
Because I'm not. It's going on too long.
Well, you need to be better.
Okay. What other tips do you have helping people wanting to move to Australia? I know that we can't cover everything, but that's because the video is not going to go on forever. So what are your number one tips for moving to Australia? Please share them down in the comments below. Have we got any of them wrong? Are we talking up the wrong tree? Is that even a phrase? Barking up the wrong tree. Yeah. If we're getting it wrong, let us know. And if you want some other help trying to move to Australia, then watch this video. I'll see you next time.
See you. Oh, God.